it's important to consider also the space. So maritime spatial planning is becoming more and more crucial as a key tool to support sustainable blue economy. And we know that for the EU member states, it's currently an important period because we are entering now in all countries actually have to present their maritime spatial plans, and we are coming in a period of implementation of maritime spatial planning. What we as assistance mechanism are trying to do is actually we are in exchanges and discussion with other initiatives in the MED region like MSP Global, MSP MED, but also with the assistance mechanism of maritime spatial planning in order to have exchanges between experts because it's important, and the role of data also towards this direction. I don't want to take more time. I would like to welcome Andrea Barbanti. Actually, he will be online, his intervention, and afterwards Samir from Algeria. So I don't know if we have Andrea with us. Andrea Barbanti from online. Okay. Hello, Andrea.
Hello. Hello, Thanos. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to use some slides, if you can put them on the screen. Okay. Okay, so I have a terrible echo, but I will try to manage. I don't know why. Okay, well, good morning to everyone. And thank you to the organizers for inviting me to contribute to this conference. Actually, it's almost impossible. The echo is crazy. Just a second, maybe it's a matter of...
I think that was the old presentation,
okay.
the former
Can you hear me
presentation.
now?
They're going to change it, I guess.
Hello?
We hear you very well. Yeah. It's just we're looking, I think, for the presentation.
The translation.
Yeah.
But I cannot hear anything.
Ah.
Andrea, can you hear us or not?
Apologies for this, but don't know what to do.
This is the...
Can you
what
hear
we're
us?
facing
Tell me on the chat if you can hear me. Okay. I may continue.
We hear you very well.
Have it. Hear you, and we see the presentation.
We hear you very well.
I don't have any feedbacks, so I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you very well.
Yes. Maybe you can write to him from the...
Don't know what happened. It's okay, Fabio? I can see Fabio.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will continue. And hopefully everything will go for the best. So thank you again, and sorry for this problem. Let's move directly to the next slide. So I'll try to be as fast as possible. And I'd like to start here reaffirming the importance of maritime spatial planning for sustainable blue economy development in the Mediterranean. Importance which we are on which we are elaborating since several years now. And I will borrow today a simple phrase from the new EU Sustainable Blue Economy strategy, which says that maritime spatial planning is an essential tool to prevent conflict between policy priorities and to reconcile nature conservation with economic development. This is today well recognized and demonstrated, I'd say, through policy documents, guidelines, and best practices. Next, please. Okay, we all recognize that offshore renewable energies are a key component of decarbonization strategies and net zero economies, and could significantly help to meet EU targets to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by generating a quarter of the EU electricity in 2050, mainly through offshore wind energy. You know that objectives are very ambitious, and they are to generate 60 gigawatts of offshore wind and 1 gigawatt of ocean energy by 2030, and 300 gigawatts of offshore wind and 40 gigawatts of ocean energy by 2050. And all EU sea basins are fundamental for the achievement of these objectives. To give you a short insight on Italy, present targets are to reach 900 megawatts by 2030, while there are today 39 applications from investors, a different level of maturity, for a total of 17 gigawatts. So we find ourselves in a very favorable situation, I think, where we have a policy landscape in place, a wide political and social consensus, availability of resources, awareness of the potential socio-economic benefits along the value chains, and a large research and innovation potentials already pre-exploited by public-private research and innovation communities. Possibly, we will be assisting to a wind gold rush, if you can call it, or an ocean energy gold rush in the Mediterranean. The next, please. The question may be then if we are fully ready to take advantage of the favorable wind blowing, and considering that things are running quite fast, as you know. We need to exploit these opportunities and work to reach the targets while respecting biodiversity and ecosystems, respecting landscapes and seascapes and cultural values as a whole, ensuring social acceptance or social license, respect other sea uses, present and future, and promote synergies with them wherever possible. If we don't consider these aspects, the risks of failure or bad implementation with high costs in the long term are really high. The next. And therefore, the message that I'd like to share with you today is that MSP, Maritime Spatial Planning, is not only an enabler of the EU renewable energy strategy, but it may also be a sort of insurance against unbalanced and unsustainable solutions. Effective MSP should respond to space demands for offshore energy production, mitigating conflicts, as well as protecting vulnerable marine ecosystems. Of course, MSP is not substituting detailed and dedicated consenting processes, but ideally the consenting and licensing process should be plan-led or strongly plan-linked, at least. And we know from the lessons learned from past and ongoing experiences in the northern EU seas and basins that this is possible and it works. The next, please. This is my last slide on opportunities. And I'd like to conclude with a message then that is related to the many opportunities we have to progress on this, referring in particular to the opportunities related to the development of effective knowledge and ecosystem-based transboundary MSP plans. At the center of all potential opportunities, I see the national plans now being finalized in all EU member states, as you know, and as Thanos was mentioning, that I consider the mainstreams and the main catalyzers of the overall process. There are then international initiatives and organizations that through their agendas, programs, projects, and policy action provide inputs to and opportunities. And at the EU level, I cannot forget here to mention the different streams that Horizon Europe launched and will be launching soon on this. Moreover, the EU Maritime Fisheries and Aquaculture Fund is traditionally supporting MSP implementation in the EU, actually is funding the MSP-MED project I'm contributing to, and the brand new calls suggest that it will continue to do that in accordance with the new Sustainable Blue Economy strategy. An important and supportive role may be played by transboundary cooperation programs as Interreg-MED. And to conclude, I'd like to mention some Italian national opportunities that will be very important, and they will be related to the National Program for Research, the Italian Next Generation EU program, and the activities promoted on this topic by the Italian cluster on blue economy, the big cluster. So to conclude, as MSP scientists, planners, and practitioners, I see a huge amount of knowledge and opportunities stemming from these streams to inform effective MSP, which is really crucial to support the sustainable blue economy and specifically the full development and deployment of the offshore renewable energies. With this, I thank you very much. Sorry again for the problem I had. How you put
Thank you,
everything
Andrea.
went well.
I don't know if you can hear us.
And I remain available for the discussion, of course.
Okay, thank you very much.
Back to you, Tom.
I don't know if we have Samir. Oh, yes, I have just seen him. So we have Samir. Actually, Samir doesn't have a presentation. Hello, Samir. Hope that you can hear us.
Yes. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah. Hi, Samir. Actually, during this morning, we are discussing a lot the importance of the integrated approach that we have in the blue economy and for sustainable blue economy. And MSP can play a catalyst, could be a catalyst, a tool towards this direction. I would like to ask you if you can give us just in a few minutes what the role of MSP and what MSP could provide, especially for aquaculture and tourism sector. So just be quick and on these two aspects, in these two sectors.
Yes, thank you, Thanos. In a few words, I would like just to highlight before and first how international support has been important for our national process for blue economy and maritime spatial planning, in particular through WestMED initiative, MSP Global, but also through BlueMed initiative, in the development of our 2030 national strategy of blue economy. And as you know that Thanos, sustainable aquaculture and sustainable tourism are one of the main components of this strategy. MSP is a key tools and also approach for blue economy, and for these two activities mainly, we consider that MSP should play a crucial role in order to regulate the cohabitation of activities and reducing negative potential impact on marine biodiversity and resources. Maybe I can also highlight that in particular in tourism, sustainable tourism and sustainable aquaculture, developing innovative and relevant operational tools for how to design maritime spatial planning is a little bit complex because we have to consider that we have, let's say, traditional or historical planning from terrestrial part, and now we are moving to the maritime spatial planning, and this is requires three, in my point of view, three main needs. The first one is about adaptation of regulation and also a coordination mechanism at institutional level. The second needs or requirements is about, let's say, blue capacity dealing with maritime spatial planning. And we have to adapt curricula at the university level, but also as professional trainers. But the third requirements, in my point of view, is about transfrontalier, so transboundary cooperation, because planning, especially tourism and aquaculture, needs also that we have a kind of sub-regional or regional coordination in order to work in the same way, and in order to reduce, for example, I heard this morning my colleague from Tunisia talking about the importance of producing at the locally the material necessary for production of aquaculture. So this cooperation and the framework that we have had in these last years in WestMED and MSP Global, I think they have been very fruitful for this cooperation.
Thank you
finally,
very much. Thank you.
Let me say that, okay. No, finally, I would like to stress that we will follow with great attention the next steps of WestMED, MSP Global, but also the development of Green Deal in the European Euro-Mediterranean area, because we believe that the implications and the impacts and effects of Green Deal will also impact our activities such as energy, tourism, fisheries, and aquaculture. And thanks.
Thank you very much, Samir. And it's really important to hear also from you the importance of MSP for regional perspective. And I think that data also on MSP are really crucial towards this direction. Before closing and going for a coffee break, I would like to go back to our panelists, and maybe if you want to say something on how maritime spatial planning as a tool could support the activities of different sectors. So I can hear something from aquaculture sector because you refer to the zones of aquaculture, so please.
It's working.
Yeah.
Perfect. Regarding aquaculture, I would like to share with you a practical experience. Because you know, it's not only about models. Models change, but we need really to apply the models on the field. And what I will take the example of Tunisia, as Mohammed Salah is just sitting close to me. We conducted the pilot study in Tunisia, and we worked on the carrying capacity of the farm in the Bay of Monastir, the first production area in the countries. And we noticed that we have two farms with exceeding the vermaltin carrying capacity. So we applied a process to move this farm more offshore in 50 meters depth. We also take in consideration the social aspect. So MSP is not only a question of models. We need to apply it to tailor it to the geographic situation, but also the social situation. And what
it is a dynamic process.
Exactly.
I would say, so.
And what we tailored for Tunisia was also to take into consideration all these aspects in order to use MSP like a tool to improve the social acceptability of the sector there. And maybe Mohammed can give you more details.
Just a very quick comment. Maybe I would like to have a last comment, I would say, from Mr. Burhim, and then we go for break because
thank you. Just some elements that I would like to raise when we talk about MSP. Recently, the IOC, UNESCO, and the FAO have organized a webinar on blue ports. My colleague from Genoa University, he said that there is green ports or green shipping. I still understand if there is any difference between green or blue ports. I think it's the same. To my understanding, for example, when we talk about blue ports, as I presented during this meeting of MSP, blue ports, for example, we can make them as artificial reefs, where, for example, juveniles can grow up and rise. For the MSP, the regulatory elements in that we have to set up laws that can manage, for example, the public maritime domain. It's very necessary to have within the country these laws. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. Actually, we see the importance of MSP as a cross-sectoral sector. So please, we are done. I have here Matteo, so I can do anything.
Yes. Thank you very much.